told me as I started to say, okay, so my mind's telling me as I'm saying the lay aside prayer, hey, this isn't the appropriate prayer. You're beyond that. That's the beginner's prayer. And I still say the prayer because, you know, sanity has returned, and I can say, I can tell my mind as it tries to tell me other shit. No, that's the perfect prayer. You understand? Even right now, where you are in your sobriety, in your recovery, that lay aside prayer is a tool that we get to have always. So you're gonna finish saying your lay aside prayer, and you're gonna be quiet, girl, and you're gonna get yourself ready to do God's work well. And then you guys go into meditation. And after the 3 minutes, you start opening with the lay aside prayer, saying it the way it was given to me. You know what I'm saying? It was a God moment for me. I don't know about y'all, but I'm just sharing with you. It was the most precious experience to show me how everything is the way it needs to be. Finally, finally, you know what I mean? And if that wasn't enough to make a tear fall from my eye, I hear Shelly's voice. I hear this East Coast accent, and it's the most nostalgic feeling for me. It's like I'm laying on my mama's bosom. You understand? Because Shelly and Jaime was like the mom and papa CA for me, you know? So I hear her voice and I'm like, oh, I'm home. I'm freaking home. Yeah, I'm a little softy. I was taught to share in a general way what it was like inside, what happened inside, and what it's like now inside. And it's a trip because, you know, what it was like was a form of hell to me. Like, I just want to sum it all up. It was a form of hell. And that hell I'm describing is that the same hell like the book describes, being maladjusted to life, you know, and full flight from reality, right? Like that was going on way before my first drink fixer hit. I had no real like emotional stability. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't control my emotional nature. I mean, way before my first drink fixer hit, my whole little family of origin to me I could have been in a whole other family, you know, if you ask me. God could have placed me. I'm talking about, it's evidenced by the fact that in elementary school, I would walk home like the long way every chance I could get, just hoping that somebody would kidnap my ass. You know what I'm saying? I would look at these nice houses like, I wonder what it's like in these homes. Get me out of the fucking one I did. I now know what that is now. I now know that that's the unmanageability within, right? And just for a quick description of it, like it looked for me like being the only girl with 4 brothers, that I didn't feel, you know, they treated me as though I needed to be treated, how I felt I should be treated, you know. They were very rough, to say the least. They were very like, no girls allowed signs on their door, you know, get the hell away from me. I always want to be up under them, and that was a job in itself. These parents I have, they're extremely old fashioned. They're from the South, and Papa didn't take no mess, and you know, he paid the cost to be the boss. And my mother was this self-serving woman, and everything was, ask your father. What did your father say? Shh, don't wake your father. Like, and I was done. Like, I was just done. I was very irritable, restless, and discontented, to say the least. So by the time I started drinking and smoking, right, like that was like right on time for me. I had no idea though that it was going to one day forge this weapon, right? That was gonna land my ass here. So, and thankfully though, it all worked out that way. It started being some problems coming up from smoking crack cocaine. I'm just gonna get straight to it, right? Some problems started to occur. I didn't say that I started having problems with it. I said some problems started to occur directly smoking crack cocaine, because I didn't realize that I had this problem with it. You understand what I'm saying? I always thought that it was the problem. I always thought that crack cocaine was the problem. And that if I could just leave that shit alone, I'd be all right. And my career shows me, my whole smoking career shows me that that's what I always believed, that crack was the problem. I mean, I have a whole career. I have this long length um, of experiences of this mental and physical torture, okay, based off this self-imposed crisis that I had no idea was just that, you know. But it got to a point in my life where I just was like, okay, I was just having some bad ass experiences with this crack cocaine, you know, and you know, I went to treatment. I went to treatment for it, you know, and I'm sitting here acting like I went to treatment as if, you know, I just knew that I needed to go to treatment, so I wouldn't place myself in treatment. Like, hell no. What it was is the dude that I was with at the time was like, no, baby, you need treatment. You want to be, we gonna stay together, then you're gonna get some help. And so I'm like, oh, certainly I gotta get the help because, you know, this man and I want to get the help. So I go into treatment. 2004 was my first treatment facility, and I go into treatment, and everything was going cool. You know, I was separated from the alcohol and the drugs. I was learning information in there, and I things were getting better. You know, with the relationship that I was in. You know, he brought me a car like at my 9-month mark. And, you know, things started to shift because the treatment facility was like, you can't park that car here, you know, and things started happening. And I was like, well, you know, if I can't park my car here, then I really don't need to be here because I'm better now and I know information now. And so I would leave this facility with all this information, with this firm resolution not to drink and use again. And I drink and use again. You know what I'm saying? And each time it's getting worse. This will happen over and over and over. The second treatment facility that I ended up in was by way of law enforcement. I got caught in my first and only raid. Whew. And I went into my second treatment facility, 2007. And in that facility, again, I learned a lot of information. You know what I'm saying? They taught me everything about alcohol and drug education and relapse prevention. They did a lot of other groups that were very helpful, like seeking safety and anger management and domestic violence and parenting education. And I would get certificates in all of these groups. I would be I'm such a compliant client. I'm always raising my hand to answer all the questions. I'm meeting with my counselor weekly. I'm getting inspired. You know what I'm saying? I'm the one in treatment you can't stand because I'm just too happy to be in some damn treatment. You know what I'm saying? I get on the client council and now I'm vice president, I'm president, and I'm on your ass. You know, I'll make you go tell on yourself so I don't have to tell on your ass for you because we're in treatment now and it's all about being sober and this new way of life and all that old shit. I leave that treatment facility and I'm so inspired that I actually go to college to be an alcohol and drug counselor. I graduate with honors and I far forth with high hopes. You know what I mean? I'm now taking life on. I got the love and the trust of my family back. You know what I'm saying? I got a checking and a savings account. I actually got a car legally with insurance and my driver's license. You know, I'm Auntie Donna now. And I'm just trying to do this deal called life. Sober. Because I got that certificate of completion. I brought it home. I'm proud of it. I got plaques and other shit to go with it. And not to mention, I am now an alcohol and drug counselor, right? I've been facilitating some groups at the internships and nothing can stop me now. Until that day that guy I told you I was with, he stopped coming home at night. Oh, the agony of it. And it's so funny how I share that with you. That's a part of my story. The dude that I was with, baby, he stopped coming home at night. And how dare he stop coming home at night? Like, and needless to say, when he stopped coming home at night, I just spiraled out of control. Like I had a job, and I had a night shift. So when I come home, it's about 11:30 midnight. And when I pull into the driveway and his car wasn't there, I would just become a lunatic. I throw my car in reverse, I pull out the driveway, I'm checking his traps, I'm going to places he might be, and he's not in any of them. I'm literally burning my engine down. I had experience where I burned the pistons or some shit, trying to find this man. And I was left in such an irritable, restless, and discontentment, right? Now, from this treatment facility, they did share things with me, like, you know, you gotta, you know, get into recovery, you know, because this is just the first deal. You know, you're sober, yeah, you got separated, but now you need some recovery. And I remember hearing that, and I think I even got a sponsor in a different fellowship. And it's not knocking that fellowship. I'm just sharing with my experience that when that man stopped coming home at night, that sponsor I had, that fellowship I was in, whatever I thought I had didn't matter, because the bottom line is that man was my God. You understand? So when my God stopped coming home at night, it fucked me up. And I was left in such an irritable, restless, and discontented state that I do what we do when we're there too long. You know what I'm saying? We can't afford to be there too long if we're going to succumb to the desire again. And it's such a trip because I didn't even know I had a desire again. I told you I had graduated from my second treatment facility with this firm resolution not to drink and use again. But being left in that irritable, restless, and discontented state for as long as I was, I succumbed to the desire again. And the desire came suddenly. You understand what I'm saying? Like the book talks about, that shit came suddenly. When that shit came, I had no effective mental defense to pull up all of the information I learned, all of the purpose I had now, the fact that I am now an alcohol and drug counselor, none of that shit matter, right? When I was stuck in that irritable, restless, and discontented state. Man, I started smoking again. And it's so funny because my last run lasted me 3 weeks, approximately 3 weeks. And in that 3 week run, that man that I was so devastated that wasn't coming home at night, now he want to come out to them old dope spots and look for me. Now he coming out looking for me. And when I tell you he needed to get the fuck away from me as soon as he possibly could, unless he had some money to give to me. Otherwise, I don't know shit to do with you now, because I see now I set up this allergy, and I thought that was such a trip. Now he wants me again. Now he's looking for me at different spots, and he's catching me, and he's pulling up on me saying, "Doctor, get in the car. Bring your ass home." And it's like, yeah, no. You know, what I thought that I wanted or needed wasn't sufficient, because I'm up against something, that's cunning, baffling, and powerful. So I'm on that last run, y'all. And long story even shorter, I'm back into treatment again. I'm back into treatment this last time. And what's a trip for me this last time being in treatment was, they're asking me that stupid ass question again. And what I mean by they're asking me that stupid ass question again is, well, Donna, what's so different this time? Fuck compassion at this point, because we're the sufferers of a disease that we ain't getting no compassion. We ain't getting no understanding. As a matter of fact, people is just tired of our shit. So I go back into treatment again, and everybody want to know, oh, she's in treatment again. Well, what's so different this time? And what was so different for me this time is that I knew I was going to leave that facility and smoke again. That much I knew. I ain't even done no work. I just knew that, oh, this is a straight cold pattern for me. That I had the experiences of learning information before. I had the experiences, of having these firm resolutions before, but each and every time I'm smoking. And it left me in a very that was a numbing state to be in. But thankfully, in that numbing state, in that sweetly reasonable state, because it was sweetly reasonable as well, because now I'm baffled. I'm baffled that I'm back in treatment. I'm an alcohol and drug counselor. What the fuck am I doing here? I had all these things back. I had all my ducks in a row. What the fuck am I doing back in treatment again? The H&I panels were coming in. My lineage was coming in. They were coming in and they were carrying the message. And I became interested. I became interested because, like, I knew at that point it's going to happen again. And then by that time, I didn't even know the complete devastation of it happening again. I just knew it was going to happen again. And I became willing to do something different. And by that, these folks coming in carrying the message by way of H&I, they're telling me straight up what to do. They're giving me the precise, directions on what to do. What you do is you get your ass a sponsor and you follow the directions. So that's what I did. Now I'll tell this little story too. What also helped with being in that sweetly reasonable state, and by way of H&I panels coming in carrying the message, this treatment facility that we were at was sending us down the road to a little mom and pop church in South Central. Alan was facilitating a big book study. That was my first time meeting him. And he irritated my soul. I'm just keeping it real. Like, he irritated my soul. He was facilitating a big book study, and he was in the doctor's opinion. He was make us start this big book study with that lay aside prayer that we did at the beginning of this meeting. And I'm willing though, because remember, I'm in a numb, sweetly reasonable state, just being back in this situation again. But even in this situation I'm in, I'm still blocked. My mind is fettered by having new ideas put into me. You know what I'm saying? Because I think I know what I need to know about me and what I need to get to be okay. But clearly my experiences show me that I keep fucking myself every time. So the divine meeting of Alan T was such a trip, because he irritated me so much that I wanted to keep going to that big book study every week just to argue with him, and that was like the I had to keep going back. But the reason why he irritated me so much is because he was presenting information to me that didn't sit right with me. It was going against what I've always thought to be true. And, he was saying shit like, how many believe the truth will set you free? Now, immediately I'm raising my hand, because that's like a motto of people's lives. The truth will set you free. Grandmama and them said it. Mama and daddy said it. Probably songs written saying the truth will set you free. And then he will smash that shit after you're all sure about yourself and you're raising your hand like, yes, that's the truth will set you free. How the fuck does it do that when you've known millions of times about the truth of what's going to happen to you and you continue to do it anyway? Like, damn, he fucked me up. Then he'll ask questions like, where does God live? Now, I want to shoot my hand up again, because he lives in the sky. That's where God lives, in the sky. He said some shit to shoot that shit down. He asked stuff like, well, where does Satan live? If God lives in the sky, where does Satan live? And I'm just looking at this grown-ass man like, you don't know the answer to that? He lives in the ground. He's in the ground. He's underneath us. Like, now my mind want to get technical about what I think I know. Yeah, the devil lives under this floor of this facility, under the dirt, under the whatever sediment rocks. That's where the devil lives, in the core of the earth. He lives there. And even as I'm starting to explain myself, I can kind of get an idea that this ain't making real sense to me. Huh? He said, well, Donna, what's the address to hell? And I was 2 seconds from saying motherfucker 666, right? Because my ideas of what's been impressed upon me is all I got. And that's all I've ever had in life. And he's making me now feel like I could be wrong about a whole lot of things. So I'm irritated at him, but I have this is like a magnetic force I got with this man. I need to keep meeting with him, because something is disturbing me in a good way. And so he, like those H&I folks, was saying that, what, if you want to be free, if you want your life recreated, if you want an opportunity to get your shit together, fuck with us, get you a sponsor and follow directions. And so therefore my journey began. I started fucking with y'all. I got the sponsor. I finally got this sponsor where I had confidence. I had, she had my confidence, you understand? And she gave me that beautiful lay aside prayer. And she gave me that lay aside prayer to say that prayer 10 times or more, a day. And of course I did it. I wrote that prayer down. I still have that prayer. It's got cough, tear stains, blood, sweat, and whatever stains on it. And it's like an artifact I want to laminate and shit. But that prayer stayed in my bra so that I can pull it out, and say it every day, all day. And it's so beautiful because I needed that with all that information that I had and all of this knowledge that I thought I had. I told y'all I'm a certified alcoholic drug counselor. Surely that means something. And it meant absolutely nothing. As I'm saying this last I prayer, I also got directions to go to meetings, right? And get commitments while I'm in these meetings. And in that, I'm meeting with the sponsor once a week, and she breaks this shit down to me. She breaks down this allergy to me, right? The first half of step 1, right, is the admission of powerlessness over alcohol or drugs physically. Let's break this shit down. Let's just talk about what the fuck is going on with me physically, right? Can I control my bodily reaction once I start? Once I take a full pull, what the fuck going on? And I love the way she broke it down to me, because if I'm just looking at this disease physically, I'm seeing that every time I take one, things is happening in my body. You know, of course, the initial thing I notice is that this craving is set off, right? That's the allergy, and I'll get into that. But before we even talk about just this craving that she broke down to me as well, we got this craving I got for more. We got the increase of my heartbeat. Sometimes I done had full pulls where I thought my heart was gonna bust out my fucking chest. I done had, experiences where, because it says any picture that leaves out this physical factor is incomplete, and hell yeah, if there's a picture of me on the wall and I take a full pull, I just set the pipe down like a lady and I go about my business. That's an incomplete picture, because that's not what happens to me when I take a full pull. Honey, I'm geeked out. My eyes is big like silver dollars. I'm hearing shit 4 blocks away. I'm seeing shit that ain't even there. It's moving and manifesting itself in trees. I'm on the floor tweaking, even though my mind is screaming, bitch, look up, stop looking on the floor. Every time you take a hit, and it ain't dropped nothing, but I can't help it. I'm feeling on stuff. I keep rubbing on stuff because I'm feeling for any kibble. Like, I had some cold tweaks and geeks physically that I could not control. I get spark and I don't want to be sparked. I get stuck and I don't want to be stuck. My mind be screaming, you better move. The police gonna probably be coming, but I can't move because I'm stuck physically. And then that damn craving, that phenomenon of craving, this book talks about, that's the allergy. That's the truth about this deal physically, that I have this abnormal reaction that causes a craving for more. It's very abnormal that something makes me crave so much to where I put my life on the line. I was so grateful that my sponsor was able to break down that the allergy equals death. Like, let's stop pussyfooting around with this truth. The truth is, if I have this allergy, which I know that I do, that means that I'm going to put my life on the line. And what that looks like for me is me putting my life on the line. We talk about, or you hear about women jumping in and out of cars. Yeah, jumping in and out of cars. Jumping in and out of cars is ultimate danger in itself, because you don't know who you're jumping in the car with. I don't know if I'm going to make it out once I jump in. We got serial killers that's one of their best, ways of getting their victims, right? But I don't go up to cars and say things like, you don't plan on harming me, do you? You don't have no gun or knife you plan to do anything with them once I get in. I don't even go into this car and say, hey, you don't have any, medical issues, do you? Can I see your medical records? No, the fuck I don't. And I'm going to tell you that condoms are not required for me. Because once I set this allergy off, right? I mean, I would like to be safe. I would like to do things safe and sound in the best way possible. But the bottom line is, I couldn't give a mad fuck. If that gentleman, he ain't a John, he ain't a trick. If that gentleman say, I don't like the way condoms make me feel. Well, fuck that. Let's still get it on. Because I don't know when another car gonna pick me up. Like, I got to that point for me. Like, I didn't know when I was gonna get another date. So it causes me this allergy. It causes me to put my life on the line, right? It causes me to make the supreme sacrifice rather than continue to fight. Not fight for the circumstance to be better, but just to simply fight for my life. Period. While this allergy is being set off, my body and mind practically separates, because there's nothing that my mind can do to stop my body reaction to this allergy. I've had countless of experiences to show me that once I'm off and running, once this allergy is set off, I mean, I've had many and millions of experiences. My mind is screaming, Donna, girl, this is enough. This is enough. Get your ass home. Your parents will still take you in. They ain't that bad at your ass. Girl, get back into that treatment facility where you'll get some help. But my body ain't listening to shit. It needs to feed the allergy. It has to feed this. So I'm seeing that the truth of the physical allergy is death. That's the truth. There is no other way to put it. My sponsor, I'm steady meeting with her. I'm steady going to meetings. I'm steady praying and reviewing. And so I'm down looking at the truth about the obsessions of the mind. It'll be academic and pointless if I just never put one in, because now you know what the allergy is. Now you know what it consists of. Now you know what it means. Once you set it off, you can't stop it, and it causes you to put your life on the line. So you're like a dead woman walking, right? Well, Donna, just don't put one in. Well, if it was just that simple, right? This disease that I have that is clearly in my body by way of allergy, it's there, but this disease don't center there. It centers in my mind rather than in my body, right? So It don't matter that I get separated. My experience shows me, as well as now the sponsor is showing me, that because this disease centers in my mind, it's because of the obsessions of my mind with the S at the end, right? These obsessions, it has different compartments, right? It's consistent of illusions, delusions, peculiar mental twists, strange mental blank spots. It's a lot going on with these obsessions of the mind, self-obsessions, because I'm completely thinking of me, myself, and how I am going to control and enjoy this shit one day. But clearly my experience shows me that I can never, ever pull it off. I'm so interested at this point, because if I thought I was scared to death behind this allergy that's going to kill me, I'm even more afraid because it's from a sober state of mind that I convince myself to set off this allergy. Something's wrong with me, stone cold sober, right? That's why sobriety is not enough if you're a real one. I see the truth about the obsessions of my mind, and the plain truth about the obsessions is that it's a lie that I buy. It's a lie. I sell myself this lie, however the lie presents itself, like, I'm just going to get one. I'm going to get a dime instead of a dove. I'm going to smoke on the west side instead of the east side this time, because I'm an east side smoker. I'm going to get my dope from Pookie this time instead of Man, because I have that experience. If I get the dope from Man, I'm gonna eat first, because if I take a full pull on a full stomach, I won't be as sparked. Yeah, that's the idea. Although I'm always sparked. I tell myself all of these. I sell whatever lie I sell myself, right? Not realizing that the price tag on that lie is death. Because anytime I buy that fucking lie, I'm setting off the allergy, which equals death. So I'm up against a cold condition, man. It's cold as fuck. They call it cunning, baffling, powerful. They describe us alcoholics and addicts as being doomed. We're fucked without God. Without God. I'm seeing the truth about my condition, about the malady, right? The thing that's been going on with me way before I took my first drink fix a hit, which is the unmanageability within, right? Alcoholism, right? It's all the same. It's all the same. And it's just this dis-ease that I got going on with no solution to it, right? I have no solution to it because I have no connection, I have no connection with the power to relieve me from the bondage of myself. And it was a while for me to really see the truth about the unmanageability within. That's what the process is for. That's what prayer is for. That's what the sponsor is for. I had to see all of the bedevilments that's been dominating my life for all this time, and how I never had, a solution to that shit. I never had a solution to it, but I had to be open to a solution for it because my human resources failed me utterly. The first human starting with myself. I could never catch a hold of myself when it came to this addiction by way of me, not by way of my parents, not by way of that man I was so in love with, not by way of parole or probation, not by way of no stipulation that the law can put on my ass. I always smoke again. And for me to smoke is for me to die. So I'm up against this cold disease of a threefold nature. And I'm told that I have a condition that only a spiritual experience will conquer. So I'm just so willing. I'm just so willing at this point because I see I'm gonna die. And when death is on that ass, you know what I'm saying? It's just pushing me to do something about it. And I'm seeing that I can't do something about it. So now I'm open to a whole new idea that I need to be willing to believe, right? But I love the process of recovery because it's so beautiful how it gives it to us. It gave it to me in a way where I can commit on a simple ass level. Because my idea of God and a relationship with God was by way of what was been impressed upon me. I told you I was at that damn big book study talking about God in the sky, truth set you free. The devil's on the ground. His address is 666. And it wasn't until I got here that I found out the devil is me, right? It wasn't until I got here that I found that God is in me. Wow, what an order. So I get around here and I'm willing to believe, and I get to create my own conception, and I'm in prayer for God to show me the truth about the unmanageability within me. But I'm so sweetly reasonable that it's all coming together now. It's all making sense now. Like something is happening because I'm following these directions, and I'm gonna tell y'all, I didn't just find God and right away because now we in a chapter of we agnostics. It didn't happen like that, you know. But what was happening is that I am doing these 3 deals in prayer, and I am following the directions of the sponsor, and I'm in this movement. Because when I got around here, I feel sorry if this wasn't your experience, but it's okay. I came around here in a fucking movement, right? These folks that I was raised around, my lineage, they was gang banging this shit, right? So I was on fire. That's why I be on fire, because them folks that raised me made me this way. That's why I'm a mad dog. I was in the middle of a herd of a movement that all we had to do was do these 3 deals. And I'm seeing that, damn, I ain't took a hit in a while. And damn, I got a little bit of purpose in my life because I got some commitments that I need to attend to. And damn, I get the prayer review and some shit pops out at me every time I pray review. Shit start making sense, like a Rubik's Cube start coming together and all the colors on one side. So I keep meeting with the sponsor. I make this fucking list. And at first, it's so funny. I tell y'all, it was almost blasphemy. She want to make a list? How you going to write down what you need God to be to you? Right? But I didn't tell her that. I just shut that shit up and laid it aside. You know, I kept saying that lay aside prayer, because what I knew without a shadow of a doubt is that I'm a dead woman. I'm a dead woman. So write this list I will. And I wrote a list of what I needed God to be to me. How beautiful that was, right? How beautiful it was to see that each item on that list started coming to light, started happening. So it ain't no hoax no more. It's like, oh, this shit is real. Because I have this condition that only a spiritual experience is going to conquer, and I'm willing to do this. We move into the 3rd step, right? Which is just an affirmation, right? It's an affirmation that I can clearly see that I got this physical allergy that's going to kill me. I got this mental obsession that's going to cause me to buy a lie that's going to set off this allergy that's going to kill me. I got this malady when I'm separated from alcohol and drugs, that I'm irritable, restless, and discontent, easy. And now I'm looking at, can't rely on me to fix none of that, to relieve me of none of that. So yeah, I'm taking this affirmation, you know, I'm offering myself to thee to build with me and to do with me as thy wilt. You know, I love it how the book said wilt. Now my sponsor, she would just say will. I'm like, put the motherfucking T on it. I don't want to miss nothing. I want this shit to be thorough and literal, because I don't want to swoop again. You know, I said that 3rd step prayer, man. And I mean, no sooner than I say amen, she like, get the fuck up. Because the book tells us that we launch into this deal, right? A vigorous action. And that's what we did. We got a house cleaning business, something I ain't never done before. I had to look at the cause and conditions of what the fuck is really going on with me, you know? And in that fact-finding, fact-facing process is where some real, you know, some more was revealed. More in a way that it could have never been revealed no other kind of way. I ain't never embarked upon nothing like this where I'm putting pen and paper resentments. I never even took a look at something called, I never even looked into the word or its meaning like I did here, not knowing that has been the root of my condition. That's been the root of my problem. You know what I'm saying? That this resentment had the power to kill. And it's so true. I get to see in prayer. I don't know about you, but have you ever been so angry at somebody? And I'm talking about somebody that didn't even know you were angry with them. And you could just, I used to take showers, you guys. And as I'm lathering up my body, I just have a thought of something that pissed me off or something about you that you pissed me off. And in the shower, I'm lathering my body like, you punk ass bitch. I will fuck your ass up. Say something. Like, I have been in situations like that by myself with all this anger built up inside of me, right? Nobody else around. And I can see how it has the power to fucking kill, if not just myself, right? And then the book tells us how the grouch and the brainstorm were not for us. If I'm in a condition where being irritable, restless, and discontent is gonna fuck me, if I'm there too long, I have to master these resentments. I have to. It leaves me so spiritually sick. And I have a condition that only a spiritual experience can conquer. So that means I gotta fuck with this God idea. I have to, but he can't get in, or I can't illuminate him that he's in, because he's already inside every man, woman, and child. But I didn't understand that I could not get to him with him being covered by all this shit that my resentments accumulate. right? I'm covering this summit of the spirit that's inside of me with all this bullshit that had the power to kill. So that was the way that I had to uncover it, by way of doing an inventory, a thorough inventory, not no punk ass inventory, but a thorough inventory. I heard people, and when I was in the rooms, how they speak on this inventory process. Oh, this inventory is too much. The pen gets heavy. And it's like, so does that dirty dick I have to suck, right? So does the shit that I have to endure setting off this allergy. So does, the life that I have to put on the line. So fuck that. Bring that inventory on. Bring it on. I write out everything, names, principles. I write this shit down, fancy to real. Fancy to real. I don't think I just write, right? And I'm giving the directions now. Okay, you wrote this shit. Now what the fuck did they do? Oh, yes, I'm writing all this shit, all of these causes of each motherfucker that pissed me off. And now she's telling me, well, how did it affect you? Write the effects of this shit. How did it affect your self-esteem, your pride, your ambition, your security, your personal and sexual relation, your pocketbooks? And it was so fun. It seemed like it was fun at that point. I get to write all that shit out. And in the fourth column comes the truth, right? The big book of Alcoholics Anonymous tells me that I get to now, at the fourth column, disregard the other man or woman entirely. And I get to resolutely look at my own mistakes. It's changing. It's changing. I had to go through all of that shit to get to the truth now, where I see where I'm selfish, dishonest, self-seeking, and afraid. I get to look at the truth. I get to see exactly, I get to put my finger on the shit that's really going on. And I can resolutely look at my own mistakes and every single resentment and cause that I ever had. I had an experience while I'm doing that. I'm having an experience while I'm doing that because stone cold sober, I'm seeing how I'm trying to wrest satisfaction out of this world. I'm seeing how I've always relied on Donna to fix Donna. And although I've had countless experience to see that Donna can't fix Donna, I was so grateful for this process now showing me that I got to be willing to believe in this power greater than me, because lack of power has always been my dilemma, not the cocaine. Not the cocaine, it was actually my solution, but the lack of power to live and be okay with just waking up and being Donna. And to wake up and not just be Donna, but to be Donna and know that God made Donna. And now I have a connection with this power of this universe. It'll get too much. I'll just stay where I've been. So I'm having these experiences with seeing that I'm trying to run the show and it ain't never working. And motherfuckers is getting mad at me for trying to run the show. So when I was doing this inventory, it was just super interesting to see the truth about me. It's super interesting, thank you, for seeing that the truth is I have this selfish, self-centered, I'm so selfish and self-centered that I don't have the ability to exercise or express or really truly know what gratitude is, right? I don't have an open-mindedness and a willingness because I'm so selfish and fucking self-centered, which is the root of my condition. Yeah, it centers in my mind that causes me to buy lies, and I have no effective mental defense against my mind. But wait, I think I froze.
You did, but we can still hear you.
Good. Okay, so I don't have anyway, yeah, I have this condition in my mind. It's centered in my mind where my mind lies to me, and then the lies it ends up to death because I'm buying a lie. But I have this root of my condition where these resentments are manifested in, and it's so cold because all I have is me, myself, and I. I'm selfish and self-centered, and when things happen to me, that's as far as I fucking get in life. You wrong me and that motherfucker, and yeah. But like in war, the victor only seems to win. So I'm just left with just bullshit of my resentments and the inventory showed me that my resentments didn't even make fucking sense, right? But that fourth column is getting me open to see that, look at me for a change. The Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous is also showing to me that all that anger that I had, the people that I'm angry with, you know, that there's symptoms I didn't like, but perhaps that these motherfuckers are sick too. Don't you just try to have a reasoning for yourself and say, well, I've been sick. That's why I've been this crackhead all this time. And that's why life just was not good, because I've been a sick woman. But that ain't the only one that's been sick. Perhaps everyone has a malady. Huh? Perhaps everyone has a malady. And if God is in every man, woman, and child, that means God is no more God in me than it is in anyone else. So I start looking at shit differently now. In these 5 minutes, I want to share with you that this process has done for me what nothing or no one could have done for me. It gave me like this clear-cut path to change, to real change, to a recreation. And it did it in a way to where I wanted the power to do it. You know what I'm saying? I feel this power that came real for me in this process. It didn't come real in no other kind of way. Matter of fact, I found God for the very first time doing this work. I'm telling you that this sponsor in prayer doing his work took God out the sky where I thought he lived and put him inside of me. I would have never had that concept. I would have never believed that concept to be true had it not been for this 12-step process. Now it's real. Now it's attainable. Now I can feel God in every fiber in me, and I can see God in every eye I can see, you know? And I have this whole new mission to be about love, you know, to be about understanding, to be about his business, you know? I got this whole new mission now, because what it's like now inside is peace. Like, I wanted to hurry up and say it real fast so you don't think that, oh, well, you know what I mean? You got a better job and you got some property you live in, or you can pay your rent, or you have a car. Like, fuck all that. If you put the pipe down, you're going to get all that shit anyway. You're going to save money, right? But I'm talking about peace and a trust and reliance upon the power, which is God, that makes everything okay. I'm serious. I'm saying that 11 years later, when my mind, because the disease is forever present, right? The disease is something that I'll never not have, but I don't have to die as a direct result from it, right? That the disease will tell me things like, girl, you're 44. You ain't got no man. You ain't had no children. You mean to tell me this is, you satisfied with that? You happy with that? And then the program comes alive and say, well, hell yeah, that's okay. I got spontees. You know, I'm alive. I have all my limbs. You know, there's an attitude of gratitude that ain't just mimicked by a motherfucker that didn't said it at a meeting before, but that I can experience it. You know, provided that I maintain a simple attitude, which is to be willing to do this work. I don't know. I just love God. I love that this program was made, and that it was just as relevant as it was in the 30s as it is today. You know, because science may one day accomplish removing the allergy, but it hasn't done so yet. So I still got to seek this power and do this work, and be afforded a remedy. You understand? A remedy, a solution that works, to where I'm not depending on nothing outside of me to be okay with it. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what this process has done for me. So I want to thank you, Janice. I want to thank God for putting our paths together, right? I want to thank God for giving me the willingness to do this work, so that you had enough thought of me to ask me to come out and share my experience, truth, and hope, right? It's that stuff that I live for. I live for doing his work well. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Thank you so much, Donna. Thank you. I love you so much. I really do. I'll see you in September. All right, you guys.